Welcome to part 3, Define the audience that can open the door. You now have clarity on the work and clients you most want to attract. The next step is identifying who has the power to connect you to more of it. All too often, people skip this step. They choose a focus based on interest or experience, but they never define the audience, the specific categories of professionals that need to associate them with their focus so they get hired and referred. An effective marketing focus requires that defined audience. Your job is not to be everywhere. Your job is to show up in the places where your target audience already is with a message that clearly reflects the work you want more of. This is what makes visibility efficient instead of exhausting. There are multiple ways into any client relationship. Well, most client relationships, but the most meaningful client relationships do not begin with the client directly. They begin through some kind of influence, through a referral source, through an internal decision maker, through trusted advisors. There's rarely only one way in. If you want to represent founder-led companies, you might enter through venture capital investors or corporate transactional counsel or CFOs or CPAs or founders or their executive leadership teams. Each of those groups is a legitimate access point. The strategic question is not just who could connect you to the work, it also includes who are you most naturally aligned with. If venture capital investors are one pathway, but you really dislike that ecosystem and culture, it's probably not the right long-term entry point for you. If you're highly analytical and detail-oriented and comfortable discussing financial nuance, you may naturally resonate with CFOs or CPAs. If you're more entrepreneurial or business-oriented and energized by growth strategy conversations, you may find more traction with founders and executives. There are multiple doors. Choose the one you are most likely to walk through consistently and confidently because alignment matters. You're building relationships, you're not running advertisement. So start with your existing matters. Look back at what you identified in the last section. Ask yourself, who connected me with this opportunity? Who influenced the hiring decision? Who could connect me with 3 more opportunities like it? And be precise here. Don't write down other lawyers or executives or companies. Think in terms of roles, titles, and communities. If you want to represent families who treat you as a long-term estate planning advisor think about who influences their decisions. Wealth managers, family office advisors, international tax accountants, cross-border business consultants. If you want to represent a REIT on a commercial real estate investment platform, who needs to know you? Is it general counsel, asset managers, portfolio managers, outside transactional counsel, industry association leaders? The smaller and more defined the group, the easier it is for you to move the needle. When you try to speak to everyone, no one feels directly addressed. So you need to define your audience narrowly so that your message can sharpen and your introductions can improve and your networking becomes very defined and intentional. So the exercise here is to take some time to write down all the specific categories of people who would need to know who you are in order for you to be hired or referred within your chosen direction. So take time to be detailed here. Instead of accountants, think about accountants advising the exact category of professional that you're interested in working with. Or real estate professionals, get specific here, asset managers that publicly traded REITs, overseeing multi-state retail portfolios. Again, we're trying to define this as closely and narrowly as possible. So list every viable entry point into the type of client relationship you want. And then you can narrow it. Among these categories, ask yourself, which of these groups do I most naturally connect with? Which conversations energize me? Which rooms do I feel confident walking into? Which professionals share my communication style? You're not just choosing access, you're choosing alignment. And over the next year, you'll be writing for this audience, speaking in front of them, attending their events, building relationships in their ecosystem. So you want to pick the group where consistency feels sustainable. The next thing is to think about, where are these people active? What associations and conferences and publications or networks are they interested in? Do they And then think about, who do I already know that operates in this space? When you know exactly who needs to be when you know exactly who needs to associate you with a specific issue, your marketing focus becomes more precise and more effective.